All right, so we're going to actually talk about some investment strategy. I know I said that we were going to be expanding on the channel and talk about more of our investment strategy. We've been so busy, we barely had any time, but here's the first little bit of that. So last week, we were this close to getting involved in our next project. This was a 100-year-old bungalow, which had a loft put in the attic space. So what we were going to do is we were going to knock the roof off this bungalow and get rid of the stupid loft they had done and do an entire second story addition with a full truss roof on top of that. So then we can make it into like a 4 or 5 bedroom because there was actually a fair bit of size on the main floor as well. Yeah. And then we were also, because the basement had very little headroom, in fact not enough headroom to actually finish it properly, we were going to actually dig the basement out and underpin the foundation, which is a huge job, very expensive job. So, and then we were going to put a 2-bedroom apartment in the basement. And then so the goal was to basically maximize the footprint of this house to accommodate 2 units and have as many bedrooms as possible in this house. We would rent it out and then sell it to a family or another investor who's looking for a more high-end type unit. The entire house was completely trashed, like literally nothing in this entire house was salvageable.
We had this property under contract for $340,000 and our reno budget was $150,000. The comparables were selling for roughly $600,000 in the area, and that means for the after repair value. So fully renovated with an accessory apartment. If we sold it for around $600,000, we could have made about $110,000 in gross profits in about 4 or 5 month time period.
4 or 5 months, yeah, that's me being very optimistic. It probably would have went more like 6 months, but still, 110 grand in 6 months. That's.
I was pushing for 4 or 5 months, cracking the whip on this guy and his crew, and just dangling that profit carrot in front of us. That $110,000 would be a good chunk of change that we could have made in a short period of time. Unfortunately, we decided to walk away from this deal. Take a look what happened.
So after meeting with Adam and Ryan, it looks like my plan for the renovation, the flip of this property, is actually going to work quite nicely. There's a lot of room in the budget for profit. So the next step is I got to get in touch with the building department. I already sent them an email. I'm kind of hoping to hear back from them. We're going to have to figure this out before we firm up our deal. We've got the accepted offer, but we're not firm until we know that this renovation will be actually allowed to be done on this property. Make sure there's no restrictions with the height or anything like that. All right, I got an email here. Well, that's not good. Amanda's gonna be disappointed when she finds this out.
Hey, Cam.
Hey, how's it going?
Alright, how are you?
Could be better.
What's going on?
Okay, so everything was going fine. I met with Adam and Ryan this morning and just sort of went over what I wanted to do. I just got an email back from the building department. There's like 3 variances that we have to apply for with the Committee of Adjustments. 3.
Okay, so...
For starters, you're allowed to do a basement apartment, but that's not the issue, it's the parking. There's actually plenty of room for parking in the backyard. The driveway between the 2 houses is so narrow, even though there's room in the backyard for parking, you can't technically access it. And it's actually less than the minimum required width for a driveway. So that's the variance number 1. Variance number 2 is, if you want to do a second story addition, we need a variance to permit building so close to the property line. The other side of the house that's at the neighbor's driveway is only 1.5 feet from the property line. You have to be a minimum of 5 feet. Again, we'd have to apply for a variance there. Variance number 3, the front of the house is set too close to the property line, to the front road or to the sidewalk. They could deny all 3 of them. You know what that was like before.
Okay. We're only firming up if we can know with the city that we can do both of those big ticket items. Otherwise, this is not an investment I want to get involved with.
rather than doing a full second story, we could abide by the setback bylaws and just make it so that the second story isn't quite as large as the first story if we want to go that route. The other option is we just renovate the crap out of this house without going for a basement apartment, without doing anything. We just do a full cosmetic upgrade and, you know, add the furnace, get rid of the radiant heat. Or do you want?
I'm not interested in buying a house for that price for a straight flip without being able to do those two big items. So yeah, I think we should walk.
You want to walk, you sure?
And I don't want to invest in this house.
Okay. Damn. If you said to go ahead with it, then I'd do it.
I'm saying no, let's walk.
So we're gonna have to let the agent know, I guess, then.
Yeah, no problem.
Shit. Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you when you get home.
Yeah, I'll be home on time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you in a bit. Bye.
So basically, we ended up walking because there was going to be too much red tape in the way as far as having 3 variances that we were going to have to apply for with the Committee of Adjustments. I've been through the Committee of Adjustments before, and I actually went through it only to get denied after like a 2.5-month process of battling with them. If you're ever going to get involved in a massive renovation where you're doing additions or, you know, changing the basement or you know, you're adding an apartment, especially if it's an older house like this, always check with the city before you firm your deal up. You can get it under contract. You can negotiate a price. Make sure you're happy with the price you've got. Don't just assume that you're going to be able to do these things.
So we included a condition in the offer that we wanted to be able to speak to the city and make sure that we were able to follow through with our renovation plan. So unfortunately, again, we decided to walk away from the deal so that we wouldn't be stuck with this house. If we were not safe about this and if we firmed up this deal and then we spoke to the city, we would have been stuck with a single family home that we purchased for $340,000, and there's no way we would have got anywhere close to $600,000 as an after repair sale price. You know, it sucks to walk away from a deal, but I'm much happier walking away from a deal than being stuck in a bad investment. You got to take your emotion out and remember this is intended to be an investment.
I'm sure the next house is right around the corner. There's lots of properties coming and going in our city, so we'll keep you posted on what's happening, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.